Hey guys, Surgeon here, and welcome to my magic gear upgrade guide. Now, I've done a melee one and I've done a range one, and I got mixed feedback on both of them. So what we did in this video is the background is the background. There's nothing really going on there. However, I will have pictures of different items going up with different stats and everything for those of you who like to see that as well. So I try to combine what I did in the past two videos and give you guys kind of a mix, and hopefully it turns out well. But I spent a lot of time on this one. There should be a lot more research done on this one than the past two, so I apologize for that. And I will have bookmarks down in the description of where you need to go if you're looking for just a particular area that you want to look at. So with all that being said, if you guys do enjoy the video, give it a like. If you want to see more from the channel, subscribe. And with all that being said, let's jump into this. Also, side note, you will see at the bottom another OS buddy. That's me playing on an alt. Don't pay attention to it. So like I said, magic is a little bit different than, well, range and melee, and that there's not a whole lot of variation in your like overall armor pieces. So I'm going to be talking about three main armor sets back to back to back and kind of comparing them and when is a good time to upgrade them. So you've got Mystic, you've got Arams, and you got Ancestral. Ancestral is best in slot. It's why it's so much. Is it really worth the extra bonuses that you're getting? Maybe, but the fact that it's best in slot makes it as expensive as it is. And to be honest, it's probably going to be one of the last things you're ever going to buy, so I'm not even really going to talk about it too much. But the real talk is between Mystic and Arams, and why should you upgrade to Arams as soon as you get to 70 magic, and as long as you have the defense requirement alongside that to wear the Arams. Well, the actual difference between Mystic and Arams is you get 19 more magic attack bonus. So again, you're getting 19 attack or 19 magic attack bonus from your actual armor, which is, you know, that's pretty decent. That's pretty respectable. It's armor. It's not even supposed to help you attack, but with magic it does. So that's pretty cool. However, the increase in price from upgrading to Mystic to Arams, I mean, you're basically paying where you pay 100k for both the Mystic top and bottom to paying over 2 mil for both the Arams top and bottom. But why would you want to do this, and why do I recommend you buy this early on? And the reason for that is that this is basically what you're going to be wearing until you can somehow manage to amount like 150 or 200 or some odd amount of mil to eventually upgrade to your Ancestral robe top and bottom. You're not going to be getting that for a very long time. So this Arams is going to be sticking with you for a while. You can almost think of it as a best in slot, because the only time you're ever going to get Ancestral is if you eventually get to the point where you can grind out enough bosses or be lucky enough to get it as a raids drop and get the money to actually, you know, wear the Ancestral robe bottom or top. So I recommend buying Arams very early on. Like as soon as you get to 70 mage and defense, go ahead and buy it. It's going to be the armor that you're going to be using pretty much for all your magic use throughout the rest of your time until you get the Ancestral. Yes, you're only increasing your magic attack bonus by, you know, 17 or 19, but you're also getting a ton of defense bonuses, and once you have it, you can basically cross it off the list of like the magic gear that you have to upgrade, because, well, now you've got your armor basically for the rest of the game. What's there to worry about now? Surgeon, I think you're forgetting about the most swag looking robes in the game, the infinity robes. Oh yeah, the infinity robes. So if you thought the increase from Mystic to Arams, which was, you know, 110k to 2.3 mil was a lot, you want to talk about paying, you know, 4.3 mil for the infinity top, or like 4.2 mil for the infinity bottom, and you're getting less increase in attack bonuses than going up to Arams, then sure, yeah, go ahead and get your infinity robes. Now, I will say the less defense requirement of the infinity robes is appealing to like low level mage, like one off PK accounts, sure. But for practical accounts like Iron Man, well, Iron Man, like, because you actually have to do Mage Training Arena for Mage's Book and things, you might actually end up getting it for whatever reason. But for main accounts, like, you're never really going to use this. There's not really a practical use. You're only really amounting to maybe like a +6 gain in magic attack. So it's not really worth it, considering you're paying almost like 100 times the price of Mystic for Infinity. So no, I'm not really going to talk about it that much. I'm actually going to give boots their own section, because there's three different kinds of boots we can talk about: wizard boots, infinity boots, and eternal boots. Actually, there's one other we should talk about: mystic boots. Why are we talking about mystic boots? Well, here, I'm going to break down some prices for you, and we're going to do a little bit of analysis on this. Mystic boots cost 6k, give you +3 magic attack and defense. Wizard boots cost 370k and give +4 magic attack and magic defense. Infinity boots cost 1.2 million and give you +5 magic attack and defense. And then you've got the Eternals, which cost like 5 mil, and they give you +8 in their best in slot, so you're going to buy them anyway. Back up. I'm not really worried about Eternal boots at all. Like, they're best in slot, you're going to get them eventually. Are they a high priority? No, I would not buy those until like you have some other things on this list. But talking about this, the increase from Mystic boots to Wizard boots is like 100 times the price. Actually, no, I apologize for that. I did math wrong in the last video and everyone got mad at me. It's like 50 times the price. And you get +1 magic attack and defense. Okay? 50 times the price, you get +1 magic attack and defense. Sweet. Is that really worth it? No, not really. Mystic boots, like, to upgrade to Infinity boots, it's like 200 times the price. 200 times the price. You're going from 6K to 1.2 million. It's basically like you're paying 1.2 million for +2. For +2. Is that really worth it? Is that really worth it, guys? Think about it. Going from +3 to +5. Like, that is it. And you're paying 1.2 million for it. If you've got 1.2 million sitting around, sure, whatever. Get Infinity boots. Be honest, I'd rather use 1.2 million and get some of the accessories I'm about to talk about here in a minute, because they're going to increase your DPS when it comes to magic a lot more than +2 attack and +2 defense. So you want to know what to do with that, that 1.2 million you were going to spend on Infinity boots? Here it is, Occult Necklace. 408K as of the recording of this commentary. And you know what it does? Increases your magic attack by 12 and increases your magic damage by 10%. 10% for 400K. And you wanted to buy Infinity boots? This is 10% more damage for 400K. Please, for the love of God, just get an Occult Necklace. It really is not that difficult to get. It only requires 70 magic to wear. So obviously, if you don't have 70 magic, cool. Yeah, there's a little bit of a barrier. But to be honest, 70 magic, you can get that in like probably a day if you really wanted it. If you don't have 70 magic, then just go ahead and use the Glory. It's going to give you +10 in every combat stat, and it's going to give you 3 prayer bonus. So like, I don't know, 20K. Use it until you get to 70 magic. And then go ahead and get your Occult Necklace. 400K, and you're increasing your damage by 10%. That is like, it is ridiculous how much more damage you're getting just from a necklace and for how little you're having to spend for this. So moving on to your hand slot. You have 2 realistic options. Barrel's Gloves or Tormented Bracelet. Okay, if you're not going to complete RFD because you're some kind of pure and you're not going to get RFD done, and you're not going to get to 75 HP for whatever reason, and you're going to mage, this is like a completely one-off scenario. If all that is the case, then get Infinity Gloves. They require 50 magic and 25 defense. They give +5 magic attack and defense, and they cost 1.6 mil. But under normal circumstances, do not buy Infinity Gloves, complete RFD, get your Barrow's Gloves, or fork over the 11 mil and get a Tormented Bracelet. But why am I going to tell you that a Zenyte Bracelet or a Tormented Bracelet is a higher priority, or one of the highest priority things you should be buying for your magic gear setup? Well, you may look at the attack bonuses and say, but it's only +4 attack bonus. Why is it so good? It's this whole +5% to your damage, and it stacks with the Occult Necklace. If I didn't make it clear enough in the Occult Necklace talk about why increased damage is so good, let me lay this out for you. So if you're wearing the Occult Necklace and the Tormented Bracelet, and your normal max hit is a 20, with both of these equipped, it's going to increase that by 15%. Like, your damage is increased by 15%. I don't know many things in this game that just give a raw damage boost, percent damage boost. It is incredible. A Tormented Bracelet should be very high on your priority list. Probably one of the first things that you want to save for. One of the first big ticket items you want to save for after you're offhanding your staff. Tormented Bracelet is so strong in that it's one of the few items, just like the Occult Necklace, that gives raw damage. Not just accuracy, but raw damage. And for magic and exactly the same thing with range, this is huge, and why you need to make this a priority on your list. Obviously, prioritize your weapon and your offhand first, because those are going to be your main damage dealing sources. But once you have a high damage dealing source, like a high staff and a high offhand, you want to increase the damage that those are going to be doing. And that's why the Zenyte Bracelet, or the Tormented Bracelet, and the Occult Necklace are such big priorities. Alright, off my soapbox for a little bit. Let's talk about rings. Honestly, you got like two, kind of three options. So if you don't have a Sears ring, there's your first option. If you don't have a Sears ring, you have two options. You can use either the Lunar Ring from the Lunar Diplomacy quest, or you can use the Beacon Ring from What Lies Below quest. They both give +2 magic attack. However, the Beacon Ring gives +1 magic defense, and the Lunar Ring gives +2. So, oh no, you're losing out on 1 magic defense by using the Beacon Ring instead of the Lunar Ring. Oh no! Honestly, if you don't have a Sears ring, you don't have the money for it, then use one of those rings. If you have a Sears ring, please just go to Nightmare Zone and imbue it for 650,000 points. You end up doubling the magic bonus from +6 to +12 for just some minigame points. So really, it's worth it to just upgrade it and imbue it to get +12 magic defense and attack. Oh, and yeah, what do you want on your back? You got 60 mage, God Cape, there you go. That's all you need. You're not 60 mage? Well, get 60 mage and get a God Cape. Honestly, that is your only choice. A God Cape is the only thing that's going to give you magic attack and defense. Alright, so weapons, this is where it gets a little weird. I'm going to do my best to explain this as best I can. But to be honest, your weapon in magic really depends on whatever spell you're going to be using. So for pretty much any kind of PVM, just in general, I would recommend using a Trident of the Swamp. Now, the reason I say a Trident of the Swamp over a Trident of the Seas is that this is actually something most people probably don't know, but when you have a Trident of the Swamp over a Trident of the Seas, you actually do 3 more damage than a Trident of the Seas. I found this out while researching it, but you can check the wiki, you can check me. The Trident of the Swamp actually does 3 more damage than a Trident of the Sea. So you couple that with the 15% magic bonus, or percent magic bonus from your 2 accessories, it's a lot more damage than a Trident of the Seas. So under most normal circumstances, yeah, you're going to be wanting to use a Trident of the Swamp. Also because you don't have to have any runes in your inventory. You load the charges into the actual Trident itself, and then it casts the spell for you. So you don't even have to worry about carrying runes in your inventory. Plus, it also attacks 20% faster than any other magic weapon in the game. It attacks every 2.4 seconds versus every 3 seconds, which makes it better for basically bossing in general. Now, if you're using elemental spells for whatever reason, then you want to be using a Staff of the Dead, and that's because it has a 1 in 8 chance of saving you runes whenever you cast with it, and plus the magic attack on it's like pretty decent. However, I went through and I did some calculations over what would save you more money using a Toxic Trident of the Swamp or a Trident of the Swamp or a Toxic Staff of the Dead. And what it comes down to is that you have to take the base price and then find out what the actual cost is per cast. And in order for the Trident, or not the Trident, the Toxic Staff of the Dead to be more cost effective than a Trident of the Swamp, it would take over 18,000 casts from the Trident for the Trident to be less cost effective than the Toxic Staff of the Dead. Over 18,000. By the way, in my calculation for the Toxic Staff of the Dead, I swear I'm going to leave all these cuts in. I didn't even account for the scales that you're burning. So it's even more than just 18,000. So your Swamp of the Dead, I swear this is going to kill me. The Trident of the Swamp is better and takes a lot of casts in order for the Toxic Staff of the Dead to actually outweigh these Trident of the Swamp. Alright, so aside from PVM, let's talk about like if you're just training in general. Let's say you're bursting things. So this is where a Staff of the Dead is actually pretty handy, and it's mainly because of that 1 in 8 chance of saving your runes. Like, it basically makes the cast free. If you play RS3, it's kind of like the Staff of Light. But basically, you can do that every 8 casts, one of those will be free. And when you're using Ancients, when you've got Bloods and Deaths, saving those Bloods and Deaths actually is very nice. However, the trade-off for this is that you can't auto-cast with it. You cannot auto-cast with a Staff of the Dead. And this is why a lot of people don't train with a Staff of the Dead, because of the click intensity of it. However, there's 3 other options you can use that will auto-cast Ancients for you. And that is the Master Wand, the Ancient Staff, and the Kodai Wand. The Kodai Wand is really freaking expensive, and it has the best magic attack and defense in the game as a wand, and it acts as infinite water runes. However, for practical reasons, you're not going to be training with this, so I'm not going to talk about it. You have the Master Wand, and you have the Ancient Staff. The Master Wand costs 4 mil, and the Ancient Staff costs like 80k. You get plus 5 magic attack and defense from the Master Wand, but I mean, you're paying 4 mil versus 80k. Most cases, you're better off just using the ancient staff because it will auto cast ancients for you. It doesn't give you any kind of like special damage boost or anything, but it will auto cast your ancients for you. And if you're lazy, like most people when they go to train and do bursting and things, just use an ancient staff. I mean, you're sacrificing 5 magic attack and defense, but you're also saving yourself like, 3.9 million GP. So to summarize the weapons, pretty much you want to prioritize getting a Trident of the Swamp when you can. It does require 75 magic, so it's a very high requirement. So up until that point, you're better off using just like any kind of like battle staff, any kind of elemental battle staff. You don't really want to be investing too much money into anything until you have like, a substantial magic level or any kind of magic level that's going to give you a weapon that's going to have a high kind of, magic bonus associated with it. Most people, when they're training magic, you're not even really using magic for combat until around like 70 or so. And most people then even just use Iban's staff from the underground pass. So realistically, you don't really want to invest in many other weapons. If you're going to be bursting, buy an ancient staff. If you're going to be using magic in general for any kind of combat, then Trident of the Swamp is definitely the way to go. And you want to be prioritizing that over any other weapon you're really using. Finally, let's talk about the offhands. So the beginner offhand you're really going to look at is the Book of Darkness. It's kind of a reward, quote unquote, from the Horror from the Deep quest. And what you do is you take the purple book and then you buy all the pages on the Grand Exchange. And all the pages together are about 600k. It's very cheap and it gives you plus 10 magic attack and it gives you some prayer bonus as well. So for starting off offhand, it's very good. Your next offhand is going to be the Malediction Ward, and this one's going to run you about like 1.7 mil or so. It's going to give you plus 12 magic bonus, attack bonus, but it's going to give you negative in every other attack style. So if you're only maging, it's fine. Other than that, it gives you more defense bonuses in the Book of Darkness, so it's a pretty good all-around magic offhand to have. Doesn't give you any prayer bonus, but from just a raw damage output, it's pretty standard. And I would actually recommend this being your main offhand until we start talking about some of the later items. Finally, the best in slot magic offhand that I will say is the Arcane Spirit Shield. It's going to run you like a lot of money, like around 90 mil or so. But it does give you the most amount of magic attack bonus in the game for an offhand at plus 20. And it has very good, obviously it's a spirit shield, so it's going to give you very good defense bonuses all around as well. However, with it being the absurd price it is, this isn't going to be a very realistic option, and this is why I recommend staying around the Malediction Ward. However, if you do want to increase your magic damage slightly and you don't mind paying around 20 mil or so, you can go with the Ancient Wyvern Shield, which is a newly dropped item off Fossil Island Wyverns, and it's going to give you plus 15 magic attack and defense, which is, that's on par with the Mage's Book. Also, reason I'm not talking about the Mage's Book is that you're paying, an extra 3.3 mil for the Malediction Ward for plus 3 magic attack and defense, and you're losing all the defense bonuses as well from the Malediction Ward. So I'm not going to talk about it. It's not very practical. However, if you do want kind of a stepping stone in between the Malediction Ward and the Arcane Spirit Shield for magic, the Ancient Wyvern Shield gives you very good defense bonuses, and it gives you another plus 3 magic attack and defense. So the reason that I'm recommending the Ancient Wyvern Visage or the Ancient Wyvern Shield over the Mage's Book is that you're not losing any defense bonuses. You're actually gaining some as well, and you're gaining magic attack and defense. And since this is a magic gear guide, I figure I would talk about this as well. The Arcane Spirit Shield, like I said, is best in slot, but let's be honest, who in their right mind's got like 90 mil laying around that they just want to throw on a shield? So now comes the point in the video of where I would recommend you buy first. So I'm going to go under the assumption that you've got 70 defense and 75 magic. So everything that I've talked about is fair game. You can basically wear everything on this list. So let's say that you're starting off with Mystic. You're starting off with a Mystic and you've got a Battle Staff. The first thing that I would recommend would be that you buy your Trident of the Swamp. It's the first thing I'm going to recommend you get. You're going to be using this basically forever. And I say basically forever. You use it in endgame raids. So get your Trident of the Swamp now and get that taken care of. Second thing I would buy would be a Malediction Ward. Again, it is a very, very good mid-level offhand to have, and you're going to stick around with it for a while because obviously you're not going to go dump 20 mil on an ancient Wyvern Shield. The next two things I'm going to recommend are that you get, first, your Occult Necklace. 400k, just get it. I don't want to go on another rant. get your occult necklace, and then get your tormented bracelet. You want that % damage boost when you've got the high damage dealing weapons. When you've got your trident and you've got your malediction ward, you're already going to have a lot of attack or magic attack as it is. So the bonuses that you're going to be getting from the armor do not really outweigh the extra damage that you're going to be doing. So you want to get the occult necklace and the tormented bracelet as soon as possible, basically right after you get your 2 main accuracy components. Next up, go ahead and get your Arams. It's going to give you the most amount of magic attack bonus boost from your current gear setup, just from a straight GP per attack bonus ratio. So go ahead and get your Arams and get rid of that Mystic. Then you want to go ahead and get your Sears ring. For the price that you get, you're going to be upgrading your ring from +2 if you're using like a lunar ring or a beacon ring up to 12 once you imbue it. So that's +10 magic attack bonus, which is very handy. Definitely recommend getting that after you've gotten your Arams already. Then finally, what you're going to want to do is eventually get your Eternal Boots. They cost you 4.1 mil, and you get an additional 5 magic attack bonus and defense if you're upgrading for your Mystic Boots. So Eternal Boots you're going to get last, and you're going to get them right before you get your Sears, or right after you get your Sears ring imbued. And there we have it, guys. That is some mage gear upgrade guide, kind of. It's mainly... The main purpose of this is just to kind of show you guys what all the different magic options are, and then give you a recommendation of, like, if I were to go through and start upgrading my gear from scratch, what would I prioritize first and why? So hopefully this guide helped you in prioritizing what you want to be buying for your magic gear. Again, I'm going to be making another video here in a bit to kind of help you guys make your own decisions on how you decide what's more important to you personally, instead of just following a guide saying like, oh, this person told me to buy this, I should buy this. I want you guys to be able to make your own decisions. So I will have a video coming out explaining how to basically determine how much benefit you're going to get out of a purchase before you actually go out and buy that item. But that's another video for another time. So if you guys did enjoy this video, go ahead and give it a like. Links to all my social media will be down in the description. If you want to see more content from my channel, go ahead and subscribe. And if you want to leave me any feedback on the video, which I'm sure most of you do, use the comment section. With all that being said, you have a great night, morning, evening, whatever time of day it is, and I'll see you guys in the next one.